Welcome to Lesson 2, Grade 6's. Today we're looking at representing, counting, ordering, and comparing decimal fractions. The usual reminders: please do all your work on separate paper, complete all answers in color, pause the video to complete activities and corrections. Just a tip for saving data: you guys can take screenshots so you do not have to download the video again at a later stage, especially for the GDE corrections. The next video will be sent out on Friday, and excuse me, sorry in advance for the barking dogs. They got new toys yesterday, and there's a decent joke for you guys to have a look at. Right, let's look at converting diagrams to decimal fractions. Let's look at the tenths. Before we do, let's have a quick reminder of what we did in the previous video. Decimal fractions are whole numbers and parts that are separated by a comma. The whole numbers are to the left of the comma and the fractions are to the right of the comma. The whole numbers get bigger to the left by 10 each time, and the fractions get smaller to the right by 10 each time. Remember that the whole numbers are written in capitals while the fractions are written in lowercase. Let's begin. What is the decimal number represented by the following shaded parts? So they want a decimal number. Let's look at A. You will see that A is a fraction strip that is chopped up into 10 equal pieces. You will see that 3 of the 10 equal pieces are shaded. Before we convert into a decimal number, we first have to convert this diagram into a fraction, one number over another number. So A, 3 parts out of 10 are shaded. That makes it very easy for us to convert that into a decimal of 0,3. B, 10 parts, 6 of them are shaded. That would make our fraction 6 out of 10, written as a decimal, 0,6. Question C, 10 parts, 9 of them are shaded in. 9 out of 10, 9 tenths, written as a decimal, is 0,9. Converting diagrams to decimals in the hundreds. What is the decimal number represented by the shaded parts? Let's look at A. We are given 100 blocks. 3 of them are shaded in. Write that in a fraction first. That's 3 out of 100. 3 out of 100, 300 written as a decimal is 0,03. B, 100 blocks. 5 of them are colored in. 5 out of 100 is 0,05 in decimal notation. Question C, 100 blocks. 9 of them are colored in. 9 hundredths written as a decimal is 0,09. Reminder before we get to the next slide of the famous decimal fractions I've taught you. 0,5 represents 50 out of 100, 50% or a half. 0,25 is 25 out of 100 or 25%, and that is a quarter. 0,75 is 75 out of 100 or 3/4. So we know that these are percentages because they are all out of 100. Right, next slide says, converting diagrams to decimals that do not have a denominator of 10, 100, or 1,000. Now these you need to memorize. Convert these diagrams into decimal fractions. A. You are given 2 pieces on the fraction strip. 1 out of the 2 is colored in. 1 over 2 or a half in decimal notation is 0,5. B. 4 pieces in this fraction strip. 1 of them are colored in. 1/4 written as a decimal is 0,25. Question C. This fraction strip is chopped up into 5 pieces, 2 of which are colored in. That makes it 2/5. We have a problem here because I have not given you this fraction in the previous slide, so we are going to have to make a plan. When the decimal is not 0, 100 or 1,000, we have to make it 0, 100 or 1,000. So we're going to use the closest one, which is 10. So we need to convert this denominator to 10. We convert 5 into a 10 by multiplying it by 2. I've taught you what we do to the denominator. We do exactly the same to the numerator. So 5 times 2 is 10. Our denominator is now sorted out. We do the same to the numerator. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Here we have 4 tenths, or in decimal notation, 0,4. Right, first activity. You're given 10 diagrams A to J, and I ask, what is the fraction and the decimal number represented by the shaded parts? Write the letter, the fraction, and the answer. For example, for A, you need to write a fraction and the decimal, and that will be for 2 marks. Please pause the video, Complete the activity and I will give you the corrections. Your corrections are as follows. Please pause the video and give yourself a mark out of 20 after fixing your mistakes and ticking what is correct. Right, next slide. We are now going to learn how to count in decimals. Now let's have a look at the number line. You will see it starts at 0 and it ends at 1. In between 0 and 1 there are smaller numbers, and these are the fractions. They increase from 0 to 1 by a tenth each time. So you are used to number lines with fractions at the bottom, but this number line has decimals at the bottom. So we can say 0 plus a tenth is 0,1. 0,1 plus a tenth is 0,2. We could also say plus 0,1 each time. So 0,1 plus 0,2 is 0,3. Plus 0,1 is 0,4. So we are just adding a tenth each time. Does not matter if you use fractions or decimals, it will give you the same each time. You will also notice that there are 10 spaces in between 0 and 1, and that is why we call them tenths each time. Okay, activity 2. In the number lines below, write the decimals in which the star or letter is placed. I will help you with star number 1. We are given a number line. It starts with 1 and ends with 2. If we count the spaces in between number 1 and number 2, you will see that there are 10 spaces. That means each space is representing a tenth. So over here we have 1 and 1/10 and 2/10. So your answer over here is 1,2. So you need to do star number 2 on your own and star number 3 on your own and A to F. Please pause the video, answer activity 2, and the corrections will follow. Right, your corrections are as follows. Please fix your mistakes and tick what is correct and give yourself a mark out of 9. Right, next slide. Now we're going to learn how to count in decimals. Now the same rules apply with whole numbers. Please notice what it says in the red writing. It is very important to move the whole numbers to the left of the comma and the fractions to the right. Let's see what I mean by that. Example number 1. Let's count in tenths. So that means we're going to add 1/10 or 0,1 each time. Let's start at 0,5 and end at 0,2. So 0,5 plus 0,1, 0,6 plus a tenth, 0,7, 0,8. 0,9 is 9/10. 9/10 plus 1/10 is 10/10. 10/10 is a whole, and that is how you write a whole in decimal notation. 0,1 plus, I beg your pardon, 1 plus 0,1 is 1,1 plus 0,1, 1,2 plus 0,1, 1,3, 1,4, 1,5, 1,6, 1,7, 1,8, 1,9. 1,9 plus 0,1 is 19/10 plus 1/10, and that is going to give us 20/10 or 2 wholes. Now let's do that backwards. 2 wholes minus 1/10 is 1,9. 1,9 minus a tenth is 1,8. 1,8 minus a tenth is 1,7. So it's exactly the same thing, we're just working backwards. So remember, we keep the parts on the right of the comma and the holes on the left side of the comma. Example number 2. Count in 3/10. That means add 3/10. We're going to start at 0,3 and end at 3 wholes. So 0,3 plus 3/10 is 0,6 plus 3/10, 0,9. 0,9 plus 3/10 is 12/10. 12/10 is 1 whole and 2/10. 1 whole and 2/10. Plus 3/10 is 1,5. 1,8, 2,1, 2,4, 2,7. 2,7 is 27/10. Wholes, tenths. Plus 3/10 will give us 30/10 or 3 wholes. Let's quickly do this backwards. 3 wholes minus 3/10. That would be 30/10 minus 3/10 is 27/10 or 2 wholes and 3/10. So 2,7 minus 3/10, 2,4, 2,1, 1,8, 1,5, and so on and so forth. Right, activity 3, you're going to do the same thing all on your own. Please complete question 1 to 6. Pause the video and click play when you are ready to mark your work. Corrections are as follows. Each answer is 1 mark. Each question is 6 marks. The whole thing is out of 36. Please give yourself a mark out of 36. Right, next slide. Let's look at comparing decimals. This is really easy. If you know how to compare whole numbers, you can compare decimals. Right, start by comparing the largest place value. Then you work your way down to the smaller place values. Let's look at the examples. Which number is bigger? 41,22 or 31,22. You can see immediately that the tens are different. 4 tens are bigger than 3 tens, so 41,22 is greater. Remember, the croc's mouth wants to eat the larger piece. Question B, 10,0 or 11,0. Tens are the same, but the units are different. 0 and 1. 1 is greater, so 11 is greater than 10. C, 67,6 or 67,7. So the tens and the units are exactly the same, but the tenth spot is different. This one is 6, this one is 7, because 7 is greater, 67,7 is greater. Question D, 55,54 or 55,53. The tens, the units, and the tenths are all exactly the same, but the hundredths are different in this number. So 4 is greater than 3, therefore 55,54 will be greater. Question E, 83,342 or 83,341. The thousandths are the only place value here that is different. Otherwise, the tens, the units, the tenths, the hundreds, and the thousandths are different. So 2 is larger than 1, so 83,342 will be greater. And as you will see at F, 942,673, 942,673 are exactly the same, so we put an equal sign. Right, next slide. Comparing decimals on the number line. Which numbers are greater than 5,1? That would make it any number after 5,1 to the right. Next question. Which numbers are bigger than 5,5? That would make it any of these decimals to the right of 5,5. Question number 3. Which numbers are bigger than 5,8? So that would be anything greater on the right hand side of 5,8 to the right. Second last question, which numbers are less than 5,2? So that's anything to the left. So that would be 5,1 and 5. Last question, which numbers are less than 5,6? So we go to 5,6 and anything to the left of 5,6 will be less. Right. Activity 4. Please fill in smaller than, greater than or equal to. Please write the question and the answer for study purposes. Pause the video, complete the activity. Corrections are as follows. Okay, let's look at another slide. Ordering decimals. There are 2 tips on how to order decimals correctly. Number 1, it's very important that you understand which number you must start with. If I ask for ascending order, please start with the smallest number. If I ask for descending order, please start with the biggest. Then secondly, start by comparing the largest or the smallest place values, then work your way through the place values. Right, so this is exactly the same as ordering whole numbers. Please complete activity 5. Pause the video. Corrections are as follows. Okay, this is going to be our last slide. What is the number value of all the digits? The example is 134,684. The 1 is representing 100, 3 is representing 30, 4 is representing 4, 6 is representing 0.6, 8 is representing 0.08, and 4 is representing 0.04. Please do A, B, C, and D. Pause the video. There are your corrections. Your GDE homework are those 2 pages. You may use your calculators for question 6. There are your corrections. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys on Friday. Hope you have an awesome day.